Hey everybody. I've been asked a lot recently why I invest in certain products in Weiss Schwarz and why I merely just buy a little bit depending on the set. So as we know with Data Live, hindsight is 2020, but um, we have the ability to learn from what has transpired, right, in the past week. So what I want to talk about is my checklist that I go through mentally to figure out if I need to buy, let's say, a trial deck display. I didn't buy a display of Madoka, that's why I didn't have it. Or just merely a booster box, right? Um, or both. You can buy it all. You can buy none of it. For me personally, what I actually end up doing is I buy every set um, to play with, and then depending on how the outcome of my checklist goes, I buy more to store on the side just to have, right? So the first thing I take a look at is you have to realize again that this is actually a game, a competitive game. And in doing so, you need to make sure the set that you're going to buy is actually potentially going to win. It doesn't have to win every time, but it would be good if it wasn't at the bottom of a tier list, right? So when you take a look at Data Live, um, as for what everybody believes, is going to introduce a ban list because of the cards inside of it, right? With the Japanese treatment, they disallowed you using certain cards together. Will we see that in English? I don't know, but at the very least, having bans on a card should pretty much tell you that it's higher up in the tier list because that means there's a bunch of broken cards in it. Um, so what I have here on the screen is a video from Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz titled Weiss Schwarz 2021 Expanded Tier List and Discussion. I'm not going to show their tier list. That's not right. They obviously put 2 hours and 31 minutes recording this, if at the very least, right? So go out there, check out their tier list, check out the video, drop a like, and check out the other videos they have. I love their videos. I think it's fun to hear their thoughts on different cards, argue back and forth. There's some jokes in there as well, so it's a pretty fun time. If you are a new person, they also have another video about jargon. You might want to check that out as well. All right, so the next thing I do is, oh, actually, so, again, Data Live, it checked off the box. Super competitive. When you bring it, you might not like the anime, you may hate everything about it, but a lot of people are going to walk in through that door or play you online with that deck. So uh, that's just how it's going to be. The next thing I do is you need to check out the popularity of the anime. I myself don't actually use this method. I just thought about it because I'm like, hey, how am I going to do this or explain it to people? Basically, I would imagine most people started Weiss Schwarz because they saw an anime that they liked and then noticed that there were trading card games, a trading card game that had the anime in it. Um, that happened with me and Haruhi. I saw Haruhi cards and I'm like, I want to go and buy that. So that was the beginning of my journey of Weiss Schwarz. So as you can see here, if you don't want to take the time to watch the anime yourself, you can go out to my anime list, type it in, and you can get like a relative popularity score and all that good stuff. Um, I like the anime. Do I want to say it was one of my favorites? I don't know if it was one of my favorites, but it's definitely up there. I love Kurumi, I love Yoshino Origami. So that was a and Kotori. So I really love the anime. So for me, this is a no-brainer buy. Again, it's really popular. There's 4 seasons, a bunch of OVAs, a movie. You have Data Bullet coming out. So, well, it's already out, but the cards in Japan are coming out. So we know this set's going to be here to stay, and it's going to get some support in a future Data Bullet set. So that will be coming. The next thing I take a look at is the Japanese singles prices. Obviously, we have the benefit of taking a look at what the Japanese market did and kind of try to figure out what it's going to do here in English. And in order to figure this out, I take a look at Nova TCG. I also take a look at UUTE. I use Nova TCG way more just because I can't read Japanese, and this will translate, but at the same time, Nova TCG is out here, and I don't have to translate it, so even better. I actually do like the look of UUTE better, just personal preference, right? But out here, you could see where the SEC cards are for the Japanese version, anyways, is 697, 698, and 148 for the Toka SECs. When you take a look at Strictly Broken, I know people are using that now instead of JKTCG since they're gone. You could take a look and you have prices here and here. The fun part is if you actually take a look and compare cards, you kind of see a ratio happening here. It doesn't always hold up, but you can come to your own conclusions on how you want to price out certain cards. This will be useful to you if you want to take that extra time to figure it out, because then you could kind of take a guess at what English may end up doing. Again, there's factors into why a set does really good, but you can kind of have an idea of pricing if you compare all three sites. Okay. You also have the fact that you need to have a good cast of characters. And for the most part, when you think about Weiss Schwarz, the cards that do really well are the ones with the girls in it. That's just how it is, right? Let's just compare, right? So we have here Data Live, and I'm going to use Strictly Broken. So you can see these sign cards, like through the roof. You have these sign cards here, but what happens if we take a look at Mob Psycho? Mob Psycho, 160, 65, 90, 40, 50, 100. They're kind of terrible. They're really, really terrible. But if I take a look at Fate Grand Order that just came out a few months ago, what we have here is Girl 300, Girl 250, 250, 250. Oh, Guy 120. Oh, Kingu 60. It's kind of sad. It stinks, but that's the way it is, right? Like, depending on who the characters are, you're going to get a different premium based on that character. And for the most part, the girls do really well, the guys not so much. You can also take a look at what other one came out. We had this one. I just feel bad for the guys. They don't get a card. And here we are. So again, Puck kind of low, and Ram. Feel bad for her. I like Ram. Ram 200, Amelia 200. Right. So depending on the character inside of the set, there better be some good ones, or it's not going to do well, as you can see here with Mob Psycho. And the reason why I bring this up is the popularity of Mob Psycho. I think more people would have thought that Mob Psycho would have done well in Weiss Schwarz. That didn't really translate well, as you can see on here. I'm not saying it's a bad set to play with. I'm just saying it didn't translate very well when you think about, is it going to do better than Data Live, or like popularity wise? You could see popularity wise this was better than Data Live, but in Weiss Schwarz the pricing doesn't show that. So that's one of the pieces that I use to figure out. You know, me personally, I will tell you, I hated Mob Psycho. I tried to watch that, I couldn't get into it. It was not an anime for me. I like the majority of Weiss Schwarz anime. So when I watched this thing and it was not good, I just had a feeling the set was going to be really bad, especially with the characters that were in it, that I imagined what the cards would be. And it really didn't disappoint me, like my expectations on how Mob Psycho was actually going to do. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do. The last thing I need to talk about is signatures. So if you have been watching the current news lately, you'll know that signatures are being wiped off of Weiss Schwarz cards for Madoka coming out in April, Kaguya, and also Heaven's Feel. They will not have signatures on there. People are really angry about it. And as you can see here, this is what it looked like originally, and this is what it's going to look like. I don't even really understand the redesign. They're redesigning this and giving two variations. I don't know. I don't know why you even have two variations for it. I don't really get it. I don't know if they're trying to make it more like trying to say, hey, even though you're not getting a signature card, we're giving you two variations, so it's going to be collectible and rare because there's two different variations. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't care about if I get this one or that one. I just want that one. And I know we're not getting it, so that is going to have a negative effect on the actual set prices. Because as you can see, let me use quintessential quintuplets. So quintessential quintuplets, side note is, if this thing comes out for English, you might want to buy it. If you actually do the math, like I was saying about the ratios, and you see here these different sign cards and their prices, especially the Miku, and then take a look at these cards and these cards. All these cards, that's just a lot of money that's going to be in it. So if you're, I'm just telling you ahead of time, you might want to buy some of these. You know, this thing got everything I said going for it. It got the girls, it got signatures. There's people love this anime, right? But the reason why I'm showing you this is this right here. As you can see, these aren't signature cards. They got their name stamped on them, and the price reflects it. So you can see $30. Here's the Ichika with a signature, $300. Miku $35, Miku $148 for the signature. So as you can tell, signature matters. So when you go back to this thing, where you have a weak set, people like the anime, it's not very competitive. What do you think is going to happen to the prices when there's not even signature cards in it? Do you buy a trial deck if the signature cards don't exist in it? I'll leave you to decide on that one. I may make another video just talking about this, but for the most part, I think you kind of have a feeling of my direction on where Madoka is going to land. So that is my checklist that I run through. Again, so what happened with Dao is we had a super competitive, probably the best deck that we have in English. The popularity of the anime was huge. It has a lot of amazing girls in there with signature cards. I mean, and it sold out months before. That was everything that happened on release day was coming. And if people didn't realize that, I think they wanted to hope that Weiss Schwarz stays in its current condition where, you know, you can kind of pick up product a month, 2 months, 3 months after, and then it starts to slowly go away. I mean, with everything landed perfect for Data Live. The pre-order cutoff was mid-December. With the whole COVID situation, people not having money, that was not really good timing for Data Live to have a cutoff. You also have the fact that I mentioned before, all those other things going for it. So it was always going to end up this way. People are just really angry. However, once we get to Madoka, Kaguya, Heaven's Feel, it's all going to go back to normal. You don't have to worry about that. So I hope you found this really helpful. And, you know, if you haven't picked up a trial deck, I would suggest you do that. If not, at least get the singles of Toka from inside of it. People are hoping for a reprint of Data Live. Do they reprint trial decks? I don't think so. I don't think that actually happens. Whether they reprint Data Live booster boxes, I don't know. I mean, English is very rare. It would be cool to actually see one, but let's be real here. Not everybody's going to buy it. You know, when you reprint anything, there's always a huge risk that people aren't going to buy it as heavily as you think. There's other things that come up. So reprints are a huge gamble. You know, it's nice as a store, right, to be able to sell all of your product out and not have to worry about it. But when you go for a reprint, how many are you going to buy? And even then, Bushy Road needs to break even when they print. They can't just print an unlimited amount and then hope that people buy it and then they just sit on and take a loss. It's funny to me because I hear people talk about reprinting. Um, Actually, I'm going to talk about that a different day. It's going to just drag on. Anyways, checklist again. Competitive strength, popularity of anime. Then you want to check prices of singles in Japan. You want to check out the cast of characters. Is there a lot of good girls? Is it just a bunch of dudes? And will this set actually have signatures? If you go by that, you should be able to figure out if the set is investable. So, all right, have a good one.